Warning, this video, the rest of the video will not be scripted. So basically, I'm now talking about the mobile phone iceberg. Now, if you know what an iceberg is, skip to this timestamp. If you already don't know, then an iceberg is basically, in the top, there's the common ones. For example, MOTOROla. But if we go even more down, there's uncommon ones such as the WINPAD. So today we'll look at an iceberg of this. So enjoy. This is the iceberg I made, not you guys. So, it's had a lot of things to go wrong with this situation. The Nokia 7700 was a Nokia phone that was still on its development phase at the time. Well, there's still a ton of development in this thing. Literally, it started all the way back in 2003, and less than a year later, its development was discontinued. Yeah, that's why I said was in the first sentences. It was eventually replaced by the 7710 in around 2005 or 2004. I don't even remember the exact date, I'm gonna have to research later. The 7710 was the first actual Nokia touchscreen phone. The 7700 was intended to be. The T-Mobile series was or is a brand of phones that still continues into the series. I mean, it doesn't anymore. I said was because they stopped making phones after 2011 and their latest model was discontinued in 2012. I also got a fan to cool me down. I was sweating. However, the brand is still alive. In 2015, T-Mobile did a similar promotion with a promotion called Jump, which is also available to the Samsung Galaxy S5. Unfortunately, that's what Mobility called it. No. I mean, this is what Cincinnati Bell called it. I don't even remember anymore. So LUCKY-GOLDSTAR, also known as LG, was a pretty good smartphone manufacturer. I actually have the LG MG155C on the way. If I put a SIM card, it's totally locked to it. I'm a phone collector, by the way, if you didn't realize. I said was because on April 5th, 2021, they finally announced they would stop making phones. However, in 2022, according to GSM Arena, the Ultra Tab has been released, which is the newest tablet LG has ever done. Which is quite big considering the fact they left the smartphone market. There's also the Velvet 2 Pro in production, however, that has been cancelled after the quit in the smartphone market. Also remember the LG name for later. DANCALL, also known as DANCALL AS by their former name, was a smartphone manufacturer that produced many smartphones such as the DC-1. They even helped in Samsung to make the SD8-100. I said was because eventually they stopped making phones. I don't know what state, but they did. So that means pretty much DANCALL phones or old vintage ones. So if you don't know what LENOXX is, you're probably outside Brazil. But if you are in Brazil, just skip to this timestamp. Eventually, if you are not in Brazil, I'm gonna have to tell you what LENOXX is. LENOXX, unlike every single Spectrum/MTK company, makes speaker boxes, and they also are in the basic phone industry because they make a ton of basic phones, all ordered with either Spectrum or MTK ones. I couldn't find a picture of a CX908A, but my Go Vibe did make the on-off animation for this song. It was similar to the CX908 with MTK sounds. This is an MTK related version of the CX908 with no image. Also, they changed their logo. LUMIA was a series that was used on multiple Microsoft and Nokia devices. The last Nokia LUMIA, before it was even bought by Microsoft, is a 930, while the last made by Nokia's, I don't even remember, but the first Microsoft was a 950 for AT&T, and the first unlocked one was a 950 XL. However, the last Nokia LUMIA was on February 2016 with a 650. As then, the LUMIA series has been discontinued. PHOTOSPHERE was a feature that was on Google phones until around like 2017 or 2014. I don't know, but basically they added this in 2012 to Android devices, and it was pretty cool. It was so popular that it even got into the App Store itself. However, it has been, I said was because it was being discontinued. Now you have panorama mode, which is quite interesting. So if you're referring to Motorola MOBIL, you're totally wrong, because I'm referring to the original Motorola. This Motorola was active for around 1935, and technically it's still a Motorola because of the phones they made. Here's an example of this with the WX290. This is the exact phone I have in my collection. I also have a ton of Motorolas before 2011. And that's why in January 4th, in January 4th, 2011, Motorola split into two companies, Mobility and Business. Mobility still being the main manufacturer for mobile phones, and Solutions making things such as radios for business users, which was quite interesting. And as of now, I have a Motorola phone using to record this. This will probably be done tomorrow. I don't know if that's for Saturday as of I'm editing this. MTK is a pretty well-known chip company. They make a ton of chips, even ones in the Helio series. The phone I'm using this to record right now actually has a MediaTek Helio P22 chip comes with it. Although they make chips for basic phones, which are quite popular in the feature phone industry because no basic phone uses MTK except some Sony Ericssons. So if you don't know what BLACKVIEW is, basically BLACKVIEW is a smartphone manufacturer and makes a ton of smartphones that are either resistant to drop damage, water damage, or both. It's basically a big company in Brazil, and their phones are quite budget range phones. They're not budget range, they're just normal smartphones with budget prices on them. However, I would consider liking it if you had enough money to buy these phones. BlackBerry was a pretty normal smartphone manufacturer. The most bases being on QWERTY phones. I said made because in 2018 they stopped even making phones. The last phone was the Key 2 LE. After that, we haven't heard much of BlackBerry since. ELGIN was a pretty normal smartphone manufacturer. Instead of making smartphones nor basic phones, they only made both tech and home phones, which was quite changing for the people very old then. But then they started making air conditioners, and then in around 2021 they left the phone market. So basically, in around 2014, Microsoft decided to make a deal with Nokia to buy $7.6 billion just for the partnership with it. In 2016, they eventually had to fuse together. Wait, special warning. It isn't that the companies fused together, but Nokia actually did pay it. Now, if you don't know what Lava is, how have you not yet? Basically, Lava is an Indian smartphone / feature phone manufacturer. It makes a ton of phones. They even made one of the first Android 5 phones that was featured in a commercial of the Android 5.1 Lollipop. And basically, they are also a maker of feature phones. Of course, because they're in India, they make Spectrum one. So if you haven't heard the news, how have you not yet? Someone managed to break the Nokia 3310, also known as the indestructible phone, from only 100,000 feet away, which is crazy. Like, the Nokia 3310 was deemed indestructible, and it was even operated on in Brazil. Side note here, that I'm not referring to either the 3G, 4G, or the LTE models. The LTE model is just a 4G model for international use. But if you're watching in China, the 4G model doesn't work. The 3G model is just a tiny recreation of the Nokia 3310. Not a tiny, but a silly little recreation of the 3310 with Kaio. Another side note is basically those recreations of the 3310 4G model that are small, but unfortunately most of them are Spectrum and MTK related. I forgot to say this, but there's a 3310 mini that's also related. That's new as reviewed. I couldn't find the original image because I think I lost it. But first, let's look at one of the images for the listing of this fake L8 Star BM10 phone. It's not fake, this is real, just a recreation. Large capacity polymer battery, so Li-ions aren't even useful anymore. Super long standing time, about 10 days. I think this is supposed to represent standby time, and battery capacity 350 mAh is removable, we already know that. This is referring to a company on the Brazilian state of Sao Paulo with quite the same as LENOXX, except having an older logo and ending with only two phones, the 0417 being the Baja and the 0485 being the Senior. So, if you haven't heard, how have you not heard it yet? H1T1, also known as John Casserline, uploaded a story saying that only one of his viewers watches his videos on a Samsung smart refrigerator. Later, he made a video about this where he shows a video where the person shows the smart refrigerator where he's watching YT from. And that's basically it, as what I can know. There's not really much to this. If you search Wi-Fi mobile on Google right now as of editing this, you will see routers keep on lists. However, there's also something. It also refers to the company placeholder names for Java MP20 phones. Most of them are LTK ones, however, it's most unlikely you find a Spectrum-related one. So if you're a Russian, you probably want to skip to this timestamp. However, if you're not, then you're pretty surprised. If you're a US user who watched this, and I explain for people who don't know, it's that basically recently there was a sort of which was viral of Samsung SM-N930F, the Galaxy Note 7, which was popular for its 2.5 million Galaxy Note 7 overheated incident, able to have an overheat timer on it. It was completely Russian, so if you're a Russian player, let me know. So I haven't mentioned my LENOXX part, but basically LENOXX also makes smartphones, the CX940 being the only example of this. Sorry if I took way too long, I was thinking. But at least MULTILASER is quite dominant because it's the exact same as ELGIN and LENOXX, except they don't even make speakers. And basically, they also go into the smartphone market. That's it from what I can know. I don't know why I put it so deep into this, and even though it's supposed to be on the top, but Nobeltech actually got his Samsung Galaxy S2 after a few days to run Android 13 or a few hours. Let me know when you first saw this 7 months ago. Let me know if it was hours or minutes, whatever. And let me know who. I know he got the S2 and then he posted on his Android 13. I don't know why, but he explains its lineage. Also, I don't even have a flash ROM, which is quite rigged considering the fact I have multiple old phones. So why would I need to flash ROM them anyway if almost none of my smartphones work? So basically, if you didn't know, RETRACE was a very weird Nokia ringtone. Even I found it weird. It was available to the 7070 as an official ringtone. However, it also existed to other Nokia phones. I don't remember their names. However, it was scrapped as a video ringtone because after some Nokia employees saw it, they got instantly a fear of reversing the original Nokia screensavers at the time. Here's the ringtone. Yeah, quite weird, isn't it? So this is not a WinPad, but more like a palm top. So basically, HP in 1996 tried to create a palm top PC computer. Here's what it looked like. But then it was cancelled. I called it WinPad because of Windows Expert. That's not true. So basically, everything was designed by a guy in Apple who founded Frog Design in 2011. Basically, they made both a flip phone, another flip phone, a tablet, a wrist thing, another phone, and finally, I forgot what it was. Okay, so I now remember in 1985, December 10th, they made a US patent to make a prototype Apple phone that looks scary. Anyway, that's it for the phone iceberg. I really hope you enjoyed and you can let me correct something. Thanks for watching.